tvoga kuši nesloga. Iz povijesti naše slavne, a i ove ne baš davne, sve smo što nam je vrijedno stekli zajedno. Moj narode, moj narode, uzmimo u ruke sudbinu i sreću. Ni ja više tako ne mogu i neću. Uzmimo u ruke sudbinu i sreću. Moj narode, moj narode. Generacije junaka, pobjednička vojska jaka, još se brine i gine zbog domovine. Sa nebeskih tih visina daj nam Bože opet sina, da nas vodi iz bijede sve do pobjede. Moj narode, moj narode, uzmimo u ruke sudbinu i sreću. Ni ja više tako ne mogu i neću. Uzmimo u ruke sudbinu i sreću. Moj narode, moj narode. Uzmimo u ruke sudbinu i sreću. Ni ja više tako ne mogu i neću. Uzmimo u ruke sudbinu i sreću. Moj narode, moj narode, moj narode, moj narode.
And welcome to another installment of Cro2000 Radio here on Monday night. You're here with a full house at the Croatian club King Tom here, overlooking the famous Croatian Sports Centre, the stadium here. And we've got another jam-packed show for you guys coming right ahead. All I can say is a bit of relief. We've got no technical dramas. We're going live on the air. We're live on the via our internet link available on our Facebook page. So if there's any issues, feel free to let us know. But it looks like it's going loud and clear. We're joined with Jason.
I'm here.
Mirjana and Angela.
Dobro večer.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I'm a bit rusty. I haven't done this for a while. How are you?
But it's always good of you to join us, and I think this is like one of the few times we've got the gender balance. We've got 2 guys, 2 girls. We've got a bit of a mix.
Parody.
Bit of parody there, but always good to be with you here, and good to be with all of our supporters and listeners, not only Sydney but Australia wide as well. So as we said, we've got a jam-packed show, a few massive stories that have been occurring in Croatia. One of them is the ongoing saga in relation to the horse tablica that has now been moved away from Jasenovac and move to a neighbouring village. And we'll have a bit of a chat about that after our next track. We've got a few more stories, as well as a jam-packed sports report. We've got the Eurobasket. We've got a World Cup qualifiers roundup. So there's heaps to chat about today on Cro2000 Radio. We'll also be keeping you up to date with all the latest comings and goings in the community and giving you information on how you can get involved over the next weeks and months. So don't go anywhere. Plenty of information, plenty of fun, and plenty of great music coming your way. So don't go anywhere. Jason's got another track for us. You're listening to Cro2000 Radio.
Say
And welcome back to Cro2000 Radio. That was Željko Bebek with one of Jakov's favourites.
Yes, well,
Da je sreća bilo.
I think it's one of Cro2000 Radio's
Cro2000 favourites.
But it is one of my favourites.
Yeah. No denying that. Well, with that song, then I guess we can move on to our next segment of the show, and that's the news with Jakov.
I was going to come in and save her with some great segue, but I'm like, nah.
You just left me hanging.
I'm just looking at her. I'm like, she'll
get there.
And thanks for the intro. We've got the intro working. It's all working.
It's happening.
A1.
That's the new standard.
It's all working.
So as we mentioned earlier, probably the biggest story coming out of Croatia at present. It's an ongoing culture war issue. The role of plaques and statues and monuments and the naming of geographical locations in Croatia, it's all combined. And the latest twist in the tale has been that the horse plaque, which was unveiled in Jasenovac to commemorate 11 horse soldiers who died in those vicinities or in that vicinity during the Homeland War, and it's been moved to nearby Novska. So the fallen soldiers, some did die in Jasenovac, some in surrounding areas. So after the toing and froing between officials obviously supporting the plaque and from the HDZ-led government, there seems to have been reached a compromise, an important compromise for this reason. Now, we all know that the slogan of the horse grouping is actually Zadom Spremni. Mm-hmm. Now, there's been massive debate about the use of that phrase, and it's gone all the way actually to our president, Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović, right. And she's actually made, she's given her 2 bobs worth on it. And one of the big takeaways that came from that was her acknowledgement of Zadom Spremni as a historical and traditional Croatian salute.
And isn't it also recognised by the government or Zakonom?
Well, that's what I was actually getting towards now. So that's right, Ange. You've jumped the gun a little bit, but no, that's correct. One of the big, I suppose, victories that the Branitelji and all the, basically the whole, it's a big victory for anyone who's a Croatian domoljub, I would suggest, is that there is an official recognition of that slogan as having played a role in the Domovinski Rat, mm-hmm. and having a kind of official confirmation from the Ministry of Administration that they can use the slogan on the insignia. Now, because what there is an ongoing debate, and what certain people in the government and people like the leader of the Serb minorities, that Pupovac guy, mm-hmm. a few of these lefties, what they want to do is to try and ban the use of that slogan. And what we're saying on the other side is that by officially recognising that phrase, it's almost de facto going to become protected in law as an official. Well, not so much that it's protected in law, it's just that they can't outlaw it. Because if that's a slogan that was used in 91 to, for the modern Republic of Croatia, then how can you ignore that slogan when it's connected to the current Croatia? It's not connected solely to something that happened in World War II, and it's not solely connected to something that's historical.
It's right.
Something that's in Croatia's history. And
so what did our president further comment on?
Yeah, so she was asked about that, and she acknowledged that. Well, she acknowledged that she wasn't a historian, and she didn't want to delve too much into the historical debate around the nomenclature, but she acknowledged that it was a historical Croatian pozdrav, a historical Croatian salute, and she was asked about whether or not the World War II issue did that compromise the salute, and she didn't delve into the historical commentary of that. And one of the reasons why that she probably didn't is because there's actually debate as to how exactly that phrase Zadom Spremni was actually used in World War II. Was it actually even used in the full way that is kind of portrayed today? And in fact, Zadom Spremni was actually used in conjunction with, a cry for like the Poglavnik or things that were related to that particular era in history. So it had its own distinct variant that was connected to the political climate at the time,
and similar to today's,
and which is separate. Yeah, well, that's right. Which is separate in its own context to today, and it's separate in its own context in a different part of Croatian history. So it's important to have a look at it in a historical sense, and at present, while it's disappointing that the ploča, I suppose, was removed from Jasenovac, it was moved to Novska. And basically the battle goes on in relation to the official recognition of that insignia.
We did see a laying of flowers and candles, though, when the ploča was removed from its original...
Oh, just before that as well, there was a ceremony, and that was attended by Glasnović and co. A few of the good... yes, that's right, a few of the solid parliamentarians there. So that continues to ongo in the Croatian sphere. It's worth covering, particularly after we've just removed the name of Tito from Zagreb's Theatre Square, which is actually now the Trg Republike Hrvatske. So it's an ongoing issue and one that we will continue to cover here on Cro2000 Radio. And just, I suppose, before we head off to our next track, the new Croatian ambassador to the US has presented his credentials to President Donald Trump. So the newly appointed Croatian ambassador is Pierre Šimunović, and he presented his credentials to the president, which is a diplomatic kind of, I suppose, rite of passage. Šimunović presented his credentials at the White House on the 8th of September, so just a couple of days ago, thereby commencing his official term of duty as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Croatia to the United States. During the White House ceremony, Ambassador Šimunović conveyed the intent of Croatia to further strengthen the alliance between the two countries. And for, I suppose, some further fun facts, Šimunović was born in Split in 1962, has a BA in Comparative Literature and the Italian language, and worked previously as an international journalist and producer at the BBC.
Nice.
There we go. All right, we'll be back with more news right after this. But up until then, Jason's got a track for us.
You're listening to Cro2000 Radio.
Noćas neka mi šutnja bude jedini glas, prazno mjesto kraj moga priča umjesto nas, i da mogu sad bi dao živo srce na tvoj dlan. Greške priznajem svoj i svaka me boli, otkad nema te ovdje oči pune su soli. Dani tu, al kao da stoje, ja još volim samo nas dvoje. Kad bi nevola moju stranu sad stalo, da kroz prste mi bare ti progledaš malo, više nikad te ne bi ja povrijedio tako, vjeruj ne bi ja više nikada. Kad bi nevola moju stranu sad stalo, da kroz prste mi bare ti ja plakao bi. Kad bi nebo na moju stranu sad stalo, da kroz prste mi barem ti progledaš malo, više nikad te ne bi ja povrijedio tako, vjeruj ne bi ja više nikad. Kad bi nebo na moju stranu sad stalo, da kroz prste mi barem ti progledaš malo, više nikad te ne bi ja povrijedio tako, vjeruj ne bi ja više nikad. Vjeruj ne bi ja više nikad.
And welcome back to Cro2000 Radio. That was, of course, one of the biggest up-and-coming, well, I think they're beyond up-and-coming at this stage, Pravila Igre.
They've already arrived.
That's right. And I think, well, I don't know if we can call them friends of the show, but their drummer,
Supporters.
Goran, was on.
That's right, yep.
It was about a year ago now.
Bit more.
A bit more, yeah.
even, yeah.
Time flies when you
Time does fly. I forget how long I've been here sometimes, but there you go.
Oh, that's great. That means you're enjoying yourself. Thanks,
That's right.
Jason. It's not a chore then.
It's not a chore, no. It's not a chore. It's all worth it in the end to listen to you continue with things.
I better not let you down. In other news, the European Commission has made an announcement that it wants Croatia fined up to 140,000 kuna per day. So it's probably about 20,000 euros a day.
What for?
In relation to... What for? Good question. in relation to delays...
He wasn't going to tell us. He was just going to leave it at
I was
that.
just going to leave you hanging.
Like, next week, find out.
Viewers, like...
When we get to 1 million in debt, then I'll tell you.
Basically, there's delays in bringing European directives into national law. So one of the things that we're talking about in terms of the European Union is that you actually do cede a bit of your control to Brussels and to the European Parliament itself. So there's certain, yes, you get money and you get, a bit of bonus, get a bit of cash, bit of cash money, but at the same time, that doesn't come for free. And it means that you have to adopt certain European standards or European laws that have been imposed on you. So,
Hang on. But if you get cash and they fine you, you're just really paying it with their cash that they gave you.
that's one way of looking at it, but at the same time, they've already...
I'm sure there's some leftover from it.
Yeah, but the problem is they've probably spent it or used it or they've divvied it up already.
Painting bridges.
Painting bridges 4 times
Tunnels.
a year. Tunnels 4 times a year. In any case, as reported by Poslovni Dnevnik, there have been 2 lawsuits launched by the European Commission against Croatia. Basically, the complaints were filed by the Commission in June and July, and in both complaints, the Commission argues that Croatia did not introduce laws that comply with the EU.
Is it because it wasn't passed in Parliament, or...?
Well, it's not Croatian law. So basically, you get a time frame where you've got a European Union law, and it's not a Croatian law, it's just a European law, and it only has effect if it's passed in your domestic parliament. Sorry for the legal lesson, guys. But basically, Croatia's been dragging their feet a little bit, and they've been taken to court. It concluded, there's been no conclusion as of yet, but the Ministry of Finance hasn't offered anything by way of response, and it looks like the matter is set to be resolved by
Croatians don't
European
usually pay their fines on time. You just wait for the ovrha to come and then you pay for it.
I would say that's a Croatian tradition.
Yeah. So, don't pay the fines until you get what is it called in English?
Warning.
A warning,
letter. Yeah.
Final warning.
Final warning. In any case, or better in my bank account, as long as it is than someone
Gets
else.
interest.
Another big, and this is something that might affect a lot of perhaps listeners or listeners' parents, is in relation to the property tax that's been proposed to be introduced. So basically, if it's just you've got idle land sitting around, it could be subject to land tax, kind of like what we have here in Australia and in other parts of the world. Now, understandably, there's been a massive outcry because people have like these blocks of land that are X hundred years old.
Yeah.
You know, you can imagine they're just historical blocks of land that aren't doing anything. And they've stayed, you know, in the family for a while. So after some mixed signals, it seems that the government will fulfill the Prime Minister's promise to postpone the tax. Finance Minister Zdravko Maric said on Saturday that the government would use its next session to adopt and to send to Parliament a proposal to amend the law, which will include a postponement. It was scheduled to come into force on 1 January, but it looks like they're going to delay.
This property tax, you know, I mean, people probably wouldn't even be that upset about it if there was actual work in Croatia where you could pay that tax. But if you can't pay that tax, what do you end up... the only resort that you have is then to sell that land so that you can pay the tax.
Yeah, look, I don't want to preempt go into the fine-tooth comb of it. I haven't looked at the legislation, so forgive me. But I would suggest that it's probably, you know, your initial property isn't taxed.
Okay.
Similarly, like any additional properties that you have would be. But the problem is people often have extra blocks of land.
Exactly.
Stadina,
some stadina and some cello that's not their primary. They don't live on there, but it might potentially be
I reckon
a tax-paying
they want to
land.
free up the land so that tourists can start buying.
Well, not
Or
tourists,
tourists,
just, foreigners.
Foreigners, sorry, yeah.
Maybe, potentially. I can see that there would be problems if we let the floodgates open. But in any case, at this point in time, we have got a decision that will be delayed heading into 2018. Grammy Award winner Lorde talks about her Croatian heritage. For those of you who may not know, she does have Croatian heritage. And for those of you who do not know, she's now actually a Croatian citizen. Yes, she has taken up her citizenship from her mother's side.
It must have been since she met Croatian President Kolinda.
No, quite literally.
Yeah.
That's about when it happened.
Hey,
Like,
that was pretty quick. She got a quick process to get...
Yeah, I was going to say. That's,
Shook hands with her president and said, ajde malo požurite.
yeah, some of our listeners may be a bit jealous. It's not that easy doing it from Sydney.
Yeah.
If you don't know the president.
I'm sure she got
should have been
a fast track.
Should have been a punch bowl at St John's Park. Or just do us a favour, Colinda.
I don't reckon Lorde was waiting in some bureaucratic office, waiting for her papers to get stamped. Let's put it that way.
Paying for translations and all that stuff. And
Are you Lorde? Let me check. He Googles on Wikipedia. Puts it on Wikipedia.
turns the monitor. That's you, right? There you go.
So she was having a bit of a chat about her history, her heritage, should I say, with her mum being Croatian. And after discussing some of the differences, she said that my mother is Croatian. There are hundreds of thousands of Dalmatian and Croatian people in New Zealand. And she said Dalmatians drink a lot of wine down there. And then she just said, yeah, I'm Croatian. And I have Croatian citizenship after she mentioned the wine. So perhaps that's her connection a bit to the Dalmatian homeland a little bit. And basically the host or a local host asked her about how she was able to obtain the citizenship. And the question was, do you just get that from being Croatian because your mum's Croatian? And she said, I'm a bit of a fancy, famous Croatian. I think not every Croatian gets that. They hooked me up, so to speak. So basically...
yeah.
She knows.
We got it. We
got it
nailed
done.
it.
We were spot on.
We nailed it in one, basically.
There's probably some honorary citizenship,
No,
but like full citizenship, if that makes sense.
It's a citizenship, trust me.
Yeah,
They
skip
just
the line
skip
citizenship.
the line citizenship. And finally, before our next track, a $50 million film project featuring Tom Hanks is to be filmed on Hvar. So as part of the boom in filmmaking that's occurring in Croatia due to their freedom laws, no regulations or permits required, just pick a spot, get your camera
or safety
and away you
considerations.
go. The island of Hvar has been chosen as a destination to film the high-budget action thriller called Black Money Games.
That's a high-budget action thriller title.
Well,
High Money Games.
Well, that's what
Black
it's called.
Money Games. Yeah.
Black Money Games, and it's directed by Adam Wright, and Hollywood actor Tom Hanks will play the lead role.
Igre crnog novca. Whoa.
Nailed it. Sounds
No
better in
translation.
It does.
And that about wraps it up for the news. Time for Jason to take us to another track.
You're listening to Cro2000 Radio.
Ovo će biti dobra noć predosjećam. Tvoje su oči boje ranog proljeća. Noćni klub i svi smo tu. Na noge svi sad, nek trese se grad. Ti gledaš me, ja topim se. Hajde priđi mi, ja brojim do 3. 1, 2, 3. Ispred mene DJ i zaruši se sve. Oko mene su svi ludi, samo ne ti. Novi vrti se hit, a ti kao Brad Pitt. Od 150 njih 100, s tobom bi radile to. Al vidim ja kroz tebe sve. Ti želiš me, a druge ne. Na tebi je baš sve naj 100% znam da ti si ta. Ovo će biti dobra noć predosjećam. Tvoje su oči boje ranog proljeća. Noćni klub i svi smo tu. Na noge svi sad, nek trese se grad. Ti gledaš me, ja topim se. Hajde priđi mi, ja brojim do 3. 1, 2, 3. Zrak između nas je zapaljivi gas. Goriš ti, gorim ja, to je kemija, znam. Pameti laku noć, sad ću te upomoć. Ako zatrebaš mi, sad spavaj, prošlo je 3. Jer vidim ja kroz tebe sve. Ti želiš me, a druge ne. Na tebi je baš sve naj 100% znam da ti si ta. Ovo će biti dobra noć predosjećam. Tvoje su oči boje ranog proljeća. Noćni klub i svi smo tu. Na noge svi sad, nek trese se grad. Ti gledaš me, ja topim se. Hajde priđi mi, ja brojim do 3. 1, 2, 3. Ovo će biti dobra noć predosjećam. Tvoje su oči boje ranog proljeća. Noćni klub i svi smo tu. Na noge svi sad, nek trese se grad. Ti gledaš me, ja topim se. Hajde priđi mi, ja brojim do 3.
And welcome back to Cro2000. That was a blast. What was that? Summer of 2012 or something?
I think a little bit earlier than
2011.
that,
I won't go earlier than
Good
that.
old Sebe.
Everyone loves that one.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Yeah, I was
sort this
confused.
out. See, the idea is,
Oh,
ladies,
we've got some news, haven't we?
we do have some news. We do have some news. This is supposed to be the grand launching of our Instagram page.
Yes, we have
Right now.
set up our Instagram page with, I think it's hashtag Cro2000 Radio, plain and simple.
Okay.
And we haven't made a post yet. So The first thing to do when you, I guess,
I'll make the first post.
Do you know how to make the post, Yakov?
I'll figure out how to make the post.
Do you have an Instagram, Yakov, that I don't know of?
No, I don't have Instagram.
Okay.
I'm not Insta famous.
Insta famous?
I'm not Insta famous.
Jason, je li imaš ti Instagram?
I don't.
Nemaš,
I
Mirjana?
don't.
I do, actually.
So you're the Insta famous one.
The only one.
The other day, I know Jakob was talking about how I'm doing the porridge now for breakfast, and I had some I had some fruit, I had some like a bit of yogurt. I did like a sprinkle of honey, and I took a photo, showed this guy at work because we I don't know, we argue about breakfast. And they're like,
show your mate
like,
breakfast. That's the most.
And he was like, that's like Instagram quality, and I was like, yeah, no, it's pretty good. It was a pretty good photo.
Next minute he downloads Instagram.
And there you go.
In any case, I think I'm going to one of the girls.
My breakfast will not be on the Cro2000 Radio page. Don't worry.
If you want to see Jason's breakfast shots, make sure to get Jason's Instagram. If you want to get all your latest Cro2000 updates, check out the Cro2000 Instagram under the what's the?
It's Cro2000 Radio. All one word.
All one word. Cro2000 Radio, and we're also going to be launching it, particularly in the wake of us making our appearance at the Cro20 down at Canberra.
That's right.
So make sure you get there, and we'll be having some giveaways in relation to that hashtag as well.
So stay tuned for more information.
Definitely do so. And whilst I figure this out, or should I say...
Let's try. Okay.
The girls will... I reckon the girls will be able to...
So what do you need first for an Instagram post?
Picture?
A picture. All right, let's take one. Have you figured out where to access the picture?
Hang on.
Hang on.
Nisam ja toliko loš. What are we doing? Doing a selfie?
All right. I think so. Let's try.
Hang on. We'll do a live on the air.
Hang on.
Selfie.
All right. I mean, right now, Jakob's only got me and him in the shot. You really shouldn't have given him the camera. Okay, that's a bit better.
Get lower, man.
This is really painful radio. And there we go. Okay.
We've absolutely
done it. We've done it. We got a photo.
It's put a filter on it, guys.
I'm not going to do the filtering.
No filter.
No filter.
Live on the air. We've witnessed history.
How are you going to do this at Cro20 ako ne znaš sada?
Čekaj, I'm on the air. I'm trying to run a radio show and take photos, and you're abusing me. Can someone do the filtering, Judith? Fala.
Let's do the filters.
And hopefully you'll be able to use that platform to get a whole lot more content from myself, Angela, Jason, Mirjana, and the whole team as well, as we look to give you guys a better show moving into the future and expanding onto a whole range of platforms. For those of us who are looking live, just at the back there, we've got a whole heap of stuff. Ange, maybe if you just show them. We've got cameras, we've got
that
lighting.
Mad desk.
We've got a mad red, white and blue desk that's ready to go. We've got a perfect location here at the heart of Croatian community here in Sydney. So there's extremely exciting things coming up in the future, and we look forward to making them more prominent and making you guys get more involved as well in the next coming weeks, months and years. So stay tuned and make sure to support Cro2000 Radio, your only youth community radio here in Sydney. And without further ado, what we might do is move to the sports report.
Josip sends his apologies. I think he's still recovering from that poor result in Turkey. Which,
I think so too.
Let's just get straight into it.
We will get straight into it, and our first, and obviously the most important story, as Jason has already alluded to, is our World Cup qualifying hopes that have been dealt a blow. There's no other way. Pardon me. There's no other way to put it. Except
not quite dashed, but dealt a blow.
Not dashed, but dealt a blow. And it was a 1-0 loss on the 5th of September at the new Eskişehir Stadium in Turkey. We luckily got away with a 1-0 win in the match before to Kosovo. And that means that we're first on 16 points, but we share the top spot with Iceland, who is also on 16 points. Turkey and Ukraine are just breathing down our necks on 14 points each. So that means that all 4 teams are in the running with 2 matches to go. For those of you who don't know, the first spot gets automatic qualification to Russia 2018, whilst the second placed team will get a run in the playoffs. So with 2 matches to go, Croatia has its next match against Finland, which is a must-win match against Finland. And then we've got a away fixture, our final one, against Ukraine. And that's going to be an extremely tough match. Ukraine's going to be all guns blazing. Basically, if Ukraine wins its 2 matches, it will be first. If Croatia fails to get points out of both matches, we might even be in a position to miss out on Russia altogether. Iceland also is playing Turkey in a must-win match for both. So if Iceland wins both matches, and for example, if Ukraine was to get points in both matches and Croatia dropped points, that would be sayonara for the Croatians, or whatever is goodbye in Russian. Do vidanye, is it something like that?
I think that might be hello.
Do vidania.
Do vidanye.
I'm not sure.
That's good day.
Perhaps. Well, anyways, good day. Good day. See you later. Good day.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. So it's not panic stations, but it will be vital for Croatia. Their next matches are on the 6th of October and the 9th of October. The match against Finland will be played at the Gradski Vrt in Osijek, whilst the away game against Ukraine will be played at the Olympic National Sports Complex in Kiev. The other...
Speaking of...
big story?
Dos videnia. Speaking of good day in Russian.
Oh, well...
was that what you're going to...
That's actually... No, well, we are... Well, Jason has correctly alluded...
I misread your...
No, that's...
Where you were going with
that's
this.
Good. No, that's where we were going. Russia has taken Croatia out of the Eurobasket 2017 competition, defeating the Croatian basketball team comprehensively with a 101-78 victory over the Croatian team. Unfortunately, Bojan Bogdanovic, Dario Šarić and co were unable to lift the Croatian checkers up against the Russian teams. And unfortunately, Croatia was considered a bit of a dark horse as well.
Yeah, and to be honest, at half-time, the scores were at 46-42 for Russia. So it was a close game up until the second half, but then... the Russians just in the third quarter they won at 26-15, and then in the fourth quarter it was the same domination. So it just got away from us. More would have been a very promising tournament, like you said. We had a couple of NBA stars. We were looking good beforehand. We had a few friendlies against some decent sides, but it just fell apart.
You correctly state that in our group stages we'd only lost one game. We'd won 4. We beat Montenegro, tough team, Hungary, Czech Republic, and Romania, the host. We only suffered a defeat to Spain,
but that's
hardly
exactly.
They're basically fielding an NBA roster.
That's right.
It's like a full NBA roster, and unfortunately the boys were unable to perform against Russia, and that means that they've not been knocked out in the round of 16.
And that's the second straight tournament in a row, actually, that they've been knocked out of the round of 16.
There we go.
So I'm assuming it would have been, was it the World? What year are we in?
Oh no, it would have been the Olympics.
The Olympics, that's right.
That was the
round
last
of 16.
major tournament, and that's when we lost to Serbia.
Yeah. So.
That hurts.
You brought it up. You should have just gone along with my amnesia.
No, actually, because I remember that it was on Town Hall. You know how they not at Town Hall at in the city where they had those big screens up where they were showing the Olympics.
No, it wasn't mine.
No, it was World Square actually down to Wesley, where I used to work, and there was the Croatia-Serbia basketball game, and there was a bit of like a crowd following, and it was close at the end, and there was you could tell there were a few crows watching, but in like business
clothes
suits or like business attire or having their lunch, and I was one of those. Unfortunately, we did not get to the goods there. Continuing our bad luck in basketball of late, Jason, is there any other sports report?
Well, let's leave the basketball alone. In tennis news, we've had somewhat good news. Marin Cilic, for the first time in his career, Jakov, has cracked the top 5.
Indeed, he has. So, unfortunately, he didn't do as well as he was supposed to in the US Open. But when the new the rankings breakdown has been released by the ATP Tour, he has still managed to actually climb the rankings due to his previous results. So Cilic is now ranked number 5 in the world.
Wow.
After the latest rankings were released on Monday. The next best ranked Croatian is Ivo Karlovic.
And where are you ranked, Yakov?
I don't have a world ranking, Ange.
Oh, okay. It's the Australian. Oh, okay. He's ranked in Australia, though.
I'm like 1,500 in Australia.
Well, hang on.
Right.
They haven't updated it. You played was it on the weekend?
I did play on the weekend, but
So,
we'll see.
Watch out, Martin.
Watch out, Martin.
I think the climb, the way I'm going, I'll be climbing a long time.
You'll be flushing toilets, not flushing meadows.
Flushing meadows.
Anytime soon.
Probably the way I'm going. But in other Croatian tennis-related rankings, Jason, you stole my thunder there. I lost my position.
I'm sorry.
Ivo Karlovic was at number 49. Borna Čorić has moved up to 56 to round out those Croatians in the top 100. And look, I'm going to make the comment just because it's there, but Marin Cilic has overtaken Novak Djokovic in the rankings. I'm just going to put it out there. Just going to put it out there. As
they should have shown that at the World Square, big screen.
But and obviously, as we know, Rafael Nadal took out the US Open, his 16th major title, with a 6-3, 6-3, 6-4 victory over South African Kevin Anderson, and cemented his position as world number one. So that about wraps up for the main sports stories of the night, I think.
There's one more story, is that our Instagram post actually went live, so we did everything correctly. And I encourage you all to follow us on Instagram and on Facebook for more information. So, yay to us.
How many what do you call it, shares or retweets or...
We're still figuring that out, all right? We just made a post.
Love reacts?
Any love reacts, no?
There has been on Facebook, because I've linked it to Facebook, so somehow it works.
That's fantastic.
View insights.
You're doing all right with the tech stuff.
I'm trying. I have to get onto this.
minute.
Yeah.
It's not easy, is it?
Jason, we don't even have to mention it. We know you just go without saying. You've got 5 computer screens around you. You've got 2 mixers. You've got a new board.
And we're battling here with Instagram, with social media.
Look, I'm battling with one microphone.
There you go. Well, let's show off my technical prowess by managing to successfully play a song, hopefully. We'll be back with some community announcements. You're listening to Cro2000.
Ostao sam sasvim sam, da ležim na suncu. Ja zvao sam te da dođeš iznova i pružiš mi ruku. Ja molio sam da se napune moja mora i rijeke, u njima još jednom da osjetim novu ljubav da teče i pjevam. Budi moja voda, ja sam sada vatra, izgorjeću. Proli se po meni, budi sve šta želim, ja živjeću. Budi moja voda, ja sam sada vatra, izgorjeću. Proli se po meni, budi sve šta želim, ja živjeću. Ostao sam sasvim sam, da ležim na suncu. Ja zvao sam te da dođeš iznova i pružiš mi ruku. Ja znao sam da ćeš doći donijeti kišu. Ja čekao sam kao suha zemlja kad čeka svoju vodu. I pjevam, budi moja voda, ja sam sada vatra, izgorjeću. I kažem, proli se po meni, budi sve što želim, ja živjeću. I pjevam, budi moja voda, ja sam sada vatra, izgorjeću. I kažem, proli se po meni, budi sve što želim, ja živjeću.
That was Damir Urban with Budi Moja Voda. Welcome back to Cro2000 Radio. I believe Jason has a little bit more news on the sports.
We just had one more story. Of course, we mentioned last week we asked everyone to get out to support Melbourne Knights against Dandenong City, and they won 3-2, we can happily say.
Melbourne, Croatia.
That's right. There you go.
Fantastic. And now we're on to our community announcements, and we'll start with Midiana. What do you have for us?
First off, at KT's, the darts night has been postponed until summer. We're not sure about the date yet, but we will let you know.
Yeah, it's on hiatus.
Look, we're not going to say when or where, but I'm going to get a confirmation from the source live confirmation about the next darts night. So watch this space.
Don't worry, you'll find out first through us.
Yes, you will, because we will be there, hopefully.
Also at KT's, Wednesday nights from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we have their steaks nights. That's $14 with chips and salad and midi of beer, glass of house wine or soft drink. That's at the Lusamala restaurant. Bookings preferred. To make your booking, call 0296109811.
Yummy.
Yeah, they're really good. Also, from personal experience, yeah, I know, right? Also at Summerhill, we have the Youth Family Mass, which is the first Sunday of every month. Obviously, it's the 11th of September, so this month has gone, but the next one will be the Sunday of 1st of October. So make sure to be there. It's always really good. Also, I think tomorrow night we have the youth group.
That's right, at St. John's Park, starting at 8 p.m. with Frapeter.
And last news for me, I've got the Fisherman's Night at Punch Bowl.
Yes.
That's on the 29th of September. Hot buffet, salad bar and dessert bar, $45 per person, and live music as always.
Fantastic. Really good deals there.
And you got to make sure you get a good feed, because then straight away you got to drive down to Canberra.
That's right, we were talking about that.
That's right, you got to do them both.
Great way to start your weekend.
Maybe you should get, like, if you kind of do one, you, like, I don't know, get like half price off the other, some sort of challenge.
Some sort of deal.
Yeah. Validate your parking in Canberra. I don't know.
Validate parking.
Yeah, next year. We'll work on it for next year.
No. Just watch our Instagram.
That's it.
We'll reveal it.
Great plugging.
Right after you post a picture of your breakfast with your
porridge.
Next thing you know, he's going to do a acai bowls.
What's that one?
Quinoa. Acai
bowl.
That's right.
Hipster on us, man.
Granola.
And what, you're playing Damir Urban?
Look, he knows all of
I
this.
Was playing Damir Urban.
A little bit hipster.
I was
like Croatian songs, hipster breakfast.
Overnight oats.
Okay. All right. I see how it is.
Bacon eggs is too mainstream.
I see how it is.
Sorry, man.
I see how
I'll
it is.
just go back to my bacon, all right? You can have your acai bowl.
Carry on with the program, guys. We've got a few minutes left.
That's it. So we've got the Croatian soccer tournament.
I'll mute your mic, Yakov. News is done. We don't need you. Bye-bye.
So Canberra, from the 28th of September to the 1st of October, we have the 43rd Croatian Soccer Tournament. That's at the Croatian Deacon Soccer Club. If you haven't booked, you really better get onto it. So no further to say there. I think the accommodation is already almost booked out. But we will be there, and you will hear more from us in regards to our Instagram hashtag and how you can get involved with Cro2000 and win prizes. Later on in October...
Have we determined those prizes yet?
There will be something.
There will be
something,
Probably your Sipshimnich DVD.
Who doesn't want to sign your Sipshimich DVD?
Hey, it's related actually to the theme. Croatian soccer tournament. He's a soccer player, you know.
Come on, we love your Sipshimich.
And it's actually autographed by him, so it's great value on the black market.
No, it was great. He's like, how many? He literally asked me, how many do you want me to sign?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
okay.
5.
Can I ask for more? Then later on in October, we have the Croatian Children's Folkloric Festival. Did I say 28th of October? If I didn't, you heard it again.
28th of October.
From 3 p.m. And as always, it's a very organic event where there's kiddies running,
community
comes together, stands. So make sure that you get involved in any way that
fireworks.
you can. And fireworks.
The main thing. That's like
and our glow
fireworks.
sticks. And our glow sticks.
Glow sticks for the kids, but the fireworks shows.
I think someone hijacked our glow sticks idea.
So it was a sore spot for Angel.
It is. We put a lot of effort into that.
We probably were the original glow stick.
Well,
Yeah.
the
original glow stick merchant.
We killed it that first year with the glow sticks.
Foolish glow stick merchants.
That's not the... Wait a minute, that's not the glow stick merchant.
And last but not least, and as I've checked Ticketmaster for Oliver and Gibboni, and it seems like they're still selling tickets. So I'm assuming that if Oliver unfortunately won't be able to make it because of the news that we've received regarding his treatment for cancer, probably Gibboni will be making it. They're in Sydney on Thursday the 23rd of November at Sydney State Theatre at 7 p.m, and at Melbourne on the 25th of November at Hammer Hall Arts Centre, also starting 7 p.m. And that wraps it up for our announcement sections. If you've got any announcements that you'd like to share with us, please do message us on Facebook or share Instagram. You know,
hang on, does Jacob know how to read messages?
How much does a hipster weigh?
How much?
Instagram.
Instagram. That's funny.
Yeah, I totally didn't make that up.
And that's it from us then too.
And it is. Thanks for that, girls, in relation to the community announcements. And thanks to all of you guys for tuning in and getting involved. A few likes and reactions there on our Facebook page and on all of our social media
fronts.
Yeah, I was just about to say platforms.
Platforms, I like fronts better.
Fronts.
Sounds like a war.
It is.
But thanks again for all your support, and look out for us. Give us a shout out, and if there's anything you'd like us to do, make sure to leave us a message on any one of our social media fronts.
That's right.
We'll see you same time, same place here on Cro2000 Radio.